Hello friends, myself Ashok Bagda from Dr. Subhash Technical Campus, and today we are going to discuss about partial balancing from the subject of dynamics of machinery. So our today's topic is partial balancing in single cylinder reciprocating engine. So let us start. So my dear friends, let us consider a single cylinder engine. So let us consider a single cylinder engine. So this is a single cylinder engine. This is a line of stroke. So OC is a crank, CP is connecting rod, and this P is a piston or a slider. My dear friends, we know that our crank, which make an angle theta degree with inner dead center and rotating with omega angular speed in clockwise direction. And because of this piston, the acceleration of piston, some inertia force is acting along the line of stroke. And we know that in a single cylinder engine, primary and secondary unbalanced forces acting along the line of stroke. So my dear friends, along the line of stroke, there are two forces acting along this line. So this is a primary unbalanced force and secondary unbalanced force. My dear friends, we know that, but in case of low and moderate speed engine, the secondary unbalanced force is very small, and that's why we neglect it. So we have to balance only a primary unbalanced force. So this is FP is a primary unbalanced forces, and it is acting along the line of stroke. So as seen in figure, my dear friends, in this direction, FP is acting. Primary unbalanced force is equal to m omega square r into cos theta. So let us understand the concept of primary unbalanced forces. My dear friends, in a simple way we can say that primary balancing means here we are not going to balance 100% balancing. We only obtain a partial balancing. That means we make a balance in a such a way that we obtain our desired output. So my dear friends, if we imagine that the mass m is attached at the crank pin, then because of this mass, some centrifugal force acting in this direction is m omega square r, and out of this centrifugal force having two components, one is m omega square r cos theta along the line of stroke, and another one is m omega square r sin theta. So we can say that the m omega square r into cos theta is a primary force, primary unbalanced force. Okay, so let us consider some notation. M is the mass of reciprocating part in kg. Omega is the angular speed of crank in radian per second. Theta is the angle made by the crank with line of stroke. This is theta. L is the length of connecting rod. Small r is the radius of crank. Okay. Now partial balancing of primary unbalanced force in a reciprocating engine. So my dear friends, in this case we only balance not 100% but around 70 to 90%. And this balancing we only balance only primary forces. So here we are going to balance primary unbalanced forces. So we know that the primary unbalanced forces, now we can balance the primary unbalanced forces. We know that in this direction primary unbalanced forces is acting m omega square r cos theta. So this is a primary unbalanced forces acting in towards the left direction, m omega square r cos theta. Okay, now if we attach MB mass at RB radius diametrically opposite to the crank, then because of this MB mass it is placed at RB distance, so some MB omega square RB, some centrifugal force MB omega square RB is acting in this direction. Now this crank also makes an angle theta degree with the horizontal line, with the line of stroke. So this centrifugal force having two components, one is along the line of stroke is mb omega square Rb cos theta, and another component is a vertical component is Mb omega square Rb sin theta. Now effect of this, if we attach Mb mass at Rb radius here diametrically opposite to the crank, then what happens? Let us see. So effect of balancing mass. Now if we attach Mb mass diametrically opposite to the crank, then what happens? The balancing mass Mb produces centrifugal force M omega square R as shown in figure. And this force having two components, Mb omega square Rb cos theta, this one it is along the line of stroke, and Mb omega square Rb sin theta, this one it is perpendicular to the line of stroke. Now let us discuss first component is Mb omega square Rb cos theta. So this component of centrifugal force due to the balancing mass Mb is along the line of stroke, and it is in opposite direction to that primary unbalanced force. So my dear friends, we know that in this direction this primary unbalanced force is acting, in this direction some another force, another component is acting because of Mb mass, it is Mb omega square Rb cos theta. Now if these two components are equal, then we can say that we have balanced primary unbalanced force along the line of stroke. So this component is responsible for the balancing the primary unbalanced force. The primary unbalanced force is completely balanced for all angular position if. Now we can say that the primary unbalanced force is completely balanced if Mb omega square Rb cos theta is equal to M omega square R cos theta. So here we know that there are common term is omega square and cos theta. So we obtain Mb Rb is Mr. So if we put Mb mass at Rb distance in such a way that is equal to the Mr, then we can say that we can balance primary unbalanced force. Now another component Mb omega square Rb sin theta. This component of centrifugal force due to the balancing mass Mb, and it is perpendicular to the line of stroke. Now this component is the balance force perpendicular to the line of stroke and produced due to the balancing of primary unbalanced forces. So partial balancing of primary unbalanced forces. So if the primary unbalanced force Fp is to be completely balanced, then we know that Mb Rb is equal to Mr. If Mb Rb is equal to Mr, then we can say that primary unbalanced force Fp is completely balanced. Now in such case, the maximum unbalanced force perpendicular to the line of stroke is M omega square R, which is same as the maximum primary unbalanced force. So thus the effect of above method is balancing is to change the direction of maximum unbalanced force from the line of stroke to the perpendicular to the line of stroke. Now my dear friends, if we attach Mb mass here at Rb radius, then what happens? Then the unbalanced force along the line of stroke will be 0, but unbalanced force perpendicular to the line of stroke will be a maximum. So here we have only changed the direction of unbalanced forces. We only change the direction of unbalanced forces. So in some cases this is required, where a machine foundation is very high strength. Thus the effect of above method of balancing is to change the direction of maximum unbalanced force from that along the line of stroke to the perpendicular to the line of stroke. In real practice, balancing is achieved by balancing only a portion of primary unbalanced force. So now we are not going to balance 100% primary unbalanced force, but we are going to balance only 70 to 90%. So the balancing Mb mass is placed diametrically opposite to the crank pinion such that Mb omega square Rb cos theta is equal to Cm omega square R cos theta. So here C is a constant and having value is less than 1. So MBRB is equal to CMR. So if we place MB mass at RB radius in a such a way that the multiplication of MBRB is become CMR, then we can say that we have balance partially along the line of stroke, and there is also some unbalanced force perpendicular to the line of stroke. So this is known as a partial balancing. The balanced primary force, now we can say that this balanced primary force is Cm omega square r cos theta. So we know that unbalanced primary force is m omega square r cos theta, and out of this unbalanced primary force we have balance only Cm omega square r cos theta. So if we assume C is 0.75, then we can say that out of 100% we have balance only a 75% of unbalanced force. Now unbalanced force due to the partial balancing of primary force. Now we know that the unbalanced force along the line of stroke. So my dear friends, unbalanced force along the line of stroke. So we have unbalanced force is m omega square r cos theta, and we have added mb mass at rb radius. So in opposite direction there is a mb omega square rb cos theta. So this force is towards the left direction and this force is towards the right direction. So here we consider m omega square r cos theta minus mb omega square rb cos theta. So horizontal unbalanced forces, if we simplify, now we know that here we are not going to balance 100% primary unbalanced force. Okay, so here we put mbrb is equal to cmr. So m omega square r cos theta minus cm omega square r cos theta. So if we take a common m omega square r cos theta, then we get unbalanced force along the line of stroke is in bracket 1 minus c bracket complete into m omega square r cos theta. Now similarly, the unbalanced force perpendicular to the line of stroke, we know that it is mb omega square rb sin theta. If we put the value of MBRB, then we get unbalanced force perpendicular to the line of stroke is Fe is equal to Cm omega square r sin theta. Now, my dear friends, we know that there is a two forces. One is along the horizontal line. This is a horizontal unbalanced forces. This is a vertical unbalanced forces. So we can obtain a resultant unbalanced forces. So resultant unbalanced forces Fr is equal to under root horizontal force square plus vertical component square. So is equal to under root Fh square plus Fe square. So we obtain under root 1 minus c bracket square into m omega square r cos theta whole bracket square plus in a bracket c m omega square r sin theta whole bracket square. So if we take a common m omega square r, then we get resultant unbalanced force Fr is equal to m omega square r in under root bracket 1 minus c bracket square cos square theta plus c square sin square theta. Now my dear friends, the resultant unbalanced force would be minimum if we differentiate this equation with respect to a c. Then we obtain the value of c is 1 by 2. So if we put the value of c is 1 by 2, then we obtain minimum unbalanced force. But in a practice, when the unbalanced force along the line of stroke is more harmful than perpendicular to it, as for instance, in a locomotive, higher value of C is considered 2 by 3 to 3 by 4. So my dear friends, 0.66%. So 2 by 3 to 3 by 4 is a preferred value for a C.
Okay, so we have discussed about partial balancing. Okay, now let us see one example based on partial balancing. Okay, let us see one example based on partial balancing of reciprocating engine. So here the example is given: a single cylinder reciprocating engine has a reciprocating mass of 50 kg and a stroke of 300 mm. That means a single cylinder reciprocating engine is given. The mass of reciprocating parts is 50 kg and stroke is 300 mm. The crank rotates at 60 rpm. Here crank is rotating at 60 rpm. The mass of revolving parts at a 150 mm radius is 30 kg. The mass of revolving parts at a 150 mm radius is 30 kg. If 2/3 of the reciprocating parts and whole of the revolving parts are to be balanced, then determine first one is a balance mass required at a radius of 300 mm, and second, the unbalanced force when the crank has turned 45 degree from the inner dead center. So in this problem we have given the given data is here the mass of reciprocating part m, we consider m is a small m is a mass of reciprocating part is 50 kg. Here a stroke length, stroke is given, so if we consider capital S as a stroke, so stroke is given 300 mm. Now we know that if a single cylinder engine having no eccentricity, that means the line of stroke is the center line of stroke is passing through the center of rotation of crank, then there is a no, we can say that there is a no eccentricity. In such cases the stroke length is always 2 times the radius of crank. So here we write capital S is equal to 2r and is given 300 mm. So we can calculate small r, that means radius of crank is 150 mm. Okay, so here 2r is equal to 300 mm is equal to 0.3 meter. So here we have converted 300 mm in a meter. So crank radius is equal to stroke length divided by 2. So crank radius is equal to stroke length divided by 2. And here stroke length is 300 mm. So we get crank radius as a 150 mm. And if we convert this 150 mm into meter, then the radius of crank is we get 0.15 meter. Okay, now the mass of revolving parts. So here we consider small m in suffix r. So mr is a mass of revolving part. The radius of revolving parts is rr. So here the radius, the revolving parts is rotating at a radius 150 mm. So small r is given 0.15 meter. The crank speed is given, the crank rotates at 60 rpm. So capital N is equal to 60 rpm. Capital N is equal to 60 rpm. So omega is equal to 2 pi n divided by 60. If we put n is equal to 60, then we get 2 pi radian per second. So omega is equal to 6.28 radian per second. So now we have the value of omega. Okay, we have the value of mass of reciprocating part, we have the value of mass of revolving part, and the radius of rotating parts. So now in this problem we have to determine the balancing mass at a radius of 300 mm. That means the RV is given. RV is a radius of rotation of for the balancing mass. So here we consider RB is given is equal to 300 mm. Okay, and C, we know that C is the fraction of reciprocating mass to be balanced. We have considered in a theory C is the fraction of reciprocating mass to be balanced. So here the 2/3 mass, here 2/3 of reciprocating parts and whole of the revolving parts are to be balanced. So here C is given 2/3. So here we consider C is 2/3. Now let us see. So here C is 2/3. The radius of balancing mass is the radius of balancing mass. So here it is 300 mm, so 0.3 meter, and the crank angle is given 45 degree with inner dead center. So let us consider MB. Let us consider MB is the balancing mass in kg. Now we know that. So here we have to balance. So MBRB is the balancing force. So balancing force should be equal to, if we want to balance only revolving parts, then MBRB is equal to MR into RR. But here we have to also balance the reciprocating part. So here C into M into R, that means we have not a 100% balance reciprocating parts, but we have 2/3 of reciprocating parts we have to balance. So here CMR plus MR into RR is equal to MBRB. Now if we put the value, C is equal to 2/3, 2/3. M is the mass of reciprocating part is 50 kg. Small r is a radius of rotation, okay, or we can say that it is a radius of crank. So radius of crank is 0.15 meter plus mr into rr. So mr is a mass of revolving part. So the mass of crank is revolving part is 30 kg and the radius of crank is 0.15 meter. So is equal to mb into rb is given 300 mm. So we write 0.3 meter. If we simplify this equation, then we get mb is equal to 31.66 kg. So now we have this is our first answer. mb is equal to 31.66 kg. Okay, now we want to determine the resultant unbalanced force when the cranks make an angle 45 degree with inner dead center. Okay, so theta is given 45 degree. So theta is given 45. So in our case theta is 45 degree. Okay, so now we use the direct equation of resultant unbalanced force, and that equation we have. Now we use an equation of resultant unbalanced force at any instant. So this equation we have derived. So Fr is a resultant unbalanced force is equal to m omega square r into under root in a bracket 1 minus c bracket square into cos square theta plus c square into sin square theta. So in this equation, m is a mass of reciprocating part in kg, omega is the angular speed of crank in radian per second, small r is the radius of crank in meter, c, here c is the fraction of reciprocating mass to be balanced. Okay, so by using this equation we will derive the resultant unbalanced force at any instant. Okay, so here we use this equation. Fu is equal to m omega square r into root in bracket 1 minus c bracket square into cos square theta plus c square into sin square theta. So here m is the mass of reciprocating parts is given 50 kg. Omega that we have derived here already, the omega is known is 6.28 radian per second. So we put here 6.28 radian per second. R is the radius of rotation of crank is 0.15 meter. Into inner root in bracket 1 minus 2/3 bracket square into cos square 45. So here theta is given. We have to determine the resultant unbalanced force at a 45 degree from inner dead center. So here we consider theta is 45 degree plus in a bracket 2/3 bracket square into sine square 45 degree. So if we solve this equation, then we get Fu is equal to 155.89 Newton. So this is our answer 2. So in this example, we have determined the balancing mass and resultant unbalanced force. And we know that in a partial balancing, we are not going to balance 100% of reciprocating mass. So in this case, we have balanced only a 2/3 mass of reciprocating parts for the balancing, and by balancing only 2/3 mass of reciprocating parts, our engine will work satisfactorily. Okay, so I hope you understand about this balancing of partial balancing of reciprocating engine and this example. Okay, thank you.